How did it all start for you?
A friend of mine had a go-kart when I was 12 years old. So I drove it at the schoolyards, and I fell in love with it. I wanted my dad to get me a go-kart, and he and hawed about it. And one night I ran away from home. I boycotted the family. Well, I was the only child. I said, "You said you get me a go-kart. I didn't get a go-kart yet." So finally, he got me a go-kart. And went by, and I went into service, and I went to artillery OCS and airborne and all that, and I volunteered for Vietnam. But right before I went to Vietnam, my future father-in-law-to-be knew Doug Craig from work. And he started saying about Doug Craig had these midgets, the three-quarter midgets. I said, oh my goodness, that's perfect. How to get started in racing, which I always wanted to do. So I met Doug Craig, I looked in his garage, and I just fell in love with the three-quarter midget. So I said, if I come back from Vietnam, I'm going to look you up, and I want to get started in racing in three-quarter midgets. I came back to Vietnam, so I stewed for Doug all that summer and learned about the three-quarter midgets. You know, I met Norm Smizer and was helping him and all. But meanwhile, I was engaged before I went to Vietnam. I really wanted somebody to write to me, you know. But anyway, so I got married. So I took the race car money, bought furniture with it. So then I says, now what the hell I do? I had motorcycles in the past on the road. I said, I'll buy a racing motorcycle. They're cheaper. So the day before I got married on a Friday, the motorcycle finally came in. I ordered a 250 Bultaco Persang, a scramble motorcycle. So I picked it up on a Friday. Saturday morning, I was painting my number plate. I got married Saturday. Sunday, I went to the racetrack. And I raced the motorcycle for this brand new. I didn't know it, but I laid it down in the heat, and I must have bent the throttle cable. So in the feature, going down the straightaway, I shut it down. It didn't shut down. I went ricocheting off trees, the motorcycle went ricocheting off trees, and Bob Marlowe came over to me. He said he was talking to Doug Craig and Larry Michaels. They came over to see me race, but they saw them pull me out of the trees. So I healed in 3 months. I took the cycle out again. I ran Gratz, PA, a half-mile cinder track, and we were flying. And there was a bunch of guys laid it down in front of me. I started running over them, the cycles, the guys, and everything. I says, that's enough of this. So I sold the motorcycle, and I got a brainy idea. Got my father-in-law to sign for me to take out a loan for furniture. So between selling a motorcycle and getting a loan for furniture, I had the money to buy the three-quarter midget. So I bought Doug Craig's old upright three-quarter midget. And he helped me get it going real good. You know, he put a cage on it and all, and he's really helped me a lot. That out in July, I think, of 70, and I still got Rookie of the Year that year. So I said, okay, I'm going to take this all apart. This is my baby. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to know every nut and bolt of this car. He says it'll never run again. Never run right again. I says, I'm going to do it. I painted it up real nice. How the X5 number, it was number 15. When I showed up at Pinebrook the first time, they said there's a 15. So I put some electrical tape across the one and made it X5. I drove that car for like a year and a half. Meanwhile, I was trying to get a full midget ride. And I sold it to Bob Berry. And
Bill Berry.
Bill Berry. And I didn't get a good ride in ARDC. But yet, I was known for driving asphalt with the three-quarters, and Dave Humphrey from New England Midgets said, I'll introduce you up there to New England. So I met the people up in New England. I met Scrivani's and all. It was a great bunch of people up there. And they said, come on, hang out. Maybe you'll hook up a ride. So I was up at Westboro, Massachusetts. The last car to pull in with Smiley had this Golden Arrow Offie, famous Offenhauser midget. A couple guys drove it, I think, Schindler and all, after World War II. So Dave Humphrey, said I could drive a three-quarter good enough. So he said, all right, get in and try it out. And I either finished first or second in the heat that night and third in the main. So I was hired for the whole season. And then got Rookie of the Year up there and did real well. And then it was all asphalt. So Flex Uris had a brand new Badger built for me to drive. And the traveling was really brutal from, Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, driving up New England states, racing every weekend, driving home all night long to go to work. and it was just, the travel was too much. Meanwhile, Lenny Boyd's father, Audie, had his ride opened up when Hank Rogers started driving for someone else. He said, I'll give you a ride in his midget down in ARDC. I said, well, I better take it because I'm going to die on the side of a highway driving up and down New England all the time. I was tired driving at night. It broke my heart, and it broke Flex Yoris's heart, that I said, I'm not quitting your car, I'm quitting the driving. So I started driving for Audie Boyd in ARDC. And then I had to, I was known as an asphalt driver, and I had to learn how to drive dirt. And I started picking up dirt, and then meanwhile, I had got rides in Ed Darrell's midgets, first-class midgets. Sheehan's midgets were first class. I drove for Mike Scrivani up in New England a few times, and I was doing okay. And then I decided, okay, I started my own business. I said, I got enough money. I want to make the adjustments on the car myself and buy the tires I want and all, and buy the engine I want. So I spent some money, and I bought my own midget and then another one. And I had Reeder help me a lot, and I bought Reeder chassis. And I won 3 midget championships in a row with ARDC. USAC ARDC championship when we had combined races, and I won a 1990 Florida Winter National Championship in the midgets. And then I wanted to go back into the sprint cars. I had a sprint car along the way, and I liked that. And it was just a lot of money, and it was a different type of car, chassis, a lot of learning curve that I didn't have. And then I tried the late model stock cars. Anything with wheels I wanted to race. I wanted to progress. I wanted to try and go up the ladder. But by the time that came around, I was too old, basically, to get picked up. But I kept trying. So then Doug Craig hooked me up with the ride at Daytona in a Pontiac Grand Am in a dash car in '94. Never drove a dash car before. I qualified 9th and finished 3rd in the 200 miler. And I couldn't get a sponsorship to drive the dash car all year because I felt if I did good, maybe I could get picked up in a bush ride. So I ran my late model another year, and then I said, if I can't make the big time, it's so much time and money to run the local circuit, which I've been there, I did that. So I kind of pulled the plug on my racing career. And I don't know if I was 47 years old or something. And that was the end of my racing career. So I didn't race cars for 22 years. And a few guys from the Vintage TQ Club said, why don't you come and drive the Vintage TQs? This was last spring. And Big Metz offered me a ride. So I said, I don't know. I haven't driven a race car in 22 years, but I know I can do it. So I went out there the first race, and I won. And we went to Evergreen, and I really won there. And I just started falling in love with racing again. I says, this is nuts. I was 69, I'm 70 now. I says, I gotta be crazy doing this, but it's the love of the sport. And once you learn how to do something, you love doing it. So I may, end up racing the Vintage 3/4 again this year. I mean, I say, I don't know if I want to continue to do this, but once I get a ride offered to me.
Can I say that we both won together the first race
Yes,
this year?
Yes, we did. It was great. And I say, I don't know if I should be doing this at 70, but I know darn well when somebody says, okay, get in my car, I'm going to say, I'll do it. Because I just love racing.
America lifts the curtain on a new sport, midget auto racing on a banked board track. It's a combination of the wall of death and speedway on 4 wheels as the gas buggy pilots blast their way round.